agenda is composed of 7 items, which I will now read. First item is State of Japan for observed status. Second item is China status. Third one is Finland for member status. I hereby call fourth one is Syria membership. Today's fifth one is composed an amendment to 7 items of the United Nations. And the last one, which is State of Japan on the observed status, is NATO for Treaty of China. Do I hear anyone in Finland to status? I hereby call for one Syria membership. Today's fifth one is Russia, an amendment to 7 items of the United Nations. And the last one, which is State of Japan on the observed status, is do I hear about NATO for Treaty of China? Do I hear anyone in Finland to status? I hereby call for one that being State of Japan for observed one is are there any Japanese items that I would like to have? And the last one, which is State of Japan on the observed status, is do I hear about NATO for Treaty of China? Do you want to hear my opinion, or are you going to deliver this in game? All right. The floor is yours. You have 5 minutes. Thank you, Representative. You may take your seat. Russia. Are there any other motions before that? Going once, going twice, going thrice? Now, seeing that we have no other motions, we're going to begin voting on this item of the agenda. Give me a minute. with 9 in favor, nobody abstaining, and nobody against, the state of Japan is hereby admitted into these United Nations. Okay, we're gonna move on to our second item, which is China for member status. Let me fix the title here. Okay. Do I hear any Chinese representative who wishes for the floor? Going once, going twice, going thrice. Okay, seeing that there is no Chinese representative present, I will hear for motions regarding this item. Russia. You may have the floor. Do you wish to deliver your statement? Okay, yeah. Let me drag you up. There you go. You have 5 minutes.
I'm gonna keep this very quick and short. Dear delegates, United Nations has been looking for a China for more than 2 months, I suppose, because our last China obviously was fighting for the permanent five position, but since they couldn't get their permanent five position, decided to withdraw in a very poorly and immature way. This China, I've seen their development. They've posted a few pictures, and I really do think that we should be admitting this China into this United Nations, as it will help with diversity and help with activity. Um, we have been craving for a China, and maybe in the future when we officially kick out Spain. Well, we won't be kicking out Spain. Spain will be withdrawing themselves. We'll be probably admitting them into the permanent five, and I think that they have development worthy of permanent five, and we should be admitting nations like these to show that we do value development and we do value having a having having activity and willing to engage with the community. I've seen them. I've seen them talk about willing to engage in the current DPRK US war, which also helps with activity within the UN. And the most important thing about this UN is that activity is number one. Due to the fact that most nations have failed with activity, these being these being one of the nations called the Kingdom of France or Honduras that recently did withdraw. So admitting nations like these is in our favor, and we should be focusing on getting these nations more over into our United Nations. Um, there's really nothing else I could say about this China except that we should all be aiming for a path towards activity and growth. The Russian Federation yells.
Thank you, Representative Bayoflu. Let me drag you up the stage. Okay, great. Do I hear for any? Okay, the Vatican. Please do request for recognition before you make motions. That means say Mr. President before anything. Like separately. I believe the DPRK wants the floor whatsoever, so I will give priority to that. You can come up here. Do you want to use VC or are you going to deliver it in game? Okay, that's fair. You have 5 minutes. Thank you, Representative Adam. Do I hear for any other motions? Russia. Do I hear? Okay. With a valid second being heard, we shall move on to a vote on this item. Bear with me. All right, with 9 in favor, 8 in favor, 3 abstaining, and none against, the People's Republic of China is hereby admitted into this UN. And Denmark actually abstained, so that's my fault. Okay. Moving on to our third item, which is Finland for member status. Are there any representatives within Finland that want to address the General Assembly? Come up here. Do you want to use VC or are you going to use chat? All right, that works. You have 5 minutes beginning from now. Thank you, Representative iTunes. You can go to down. Do I hear any motions regarding this item? Russia. Do I hear a second? Okay, while the second being heard, we're gonna be moving on to a vote. With 11 in favor, nobody abstaining, and nobody against, Finland is hereby admitted into the United Nations as a member state. We shall now move on to our fourth item of today's agenda, which is Syria for observership. Do we have any Syrian representatives? Going once, going twice, going thrice. Seeing that no representative is here, I'm gonna be hearing for motions regarding this item. Russia. You may have the floor. Is this gonna be VC again? Alright, I'm gonna just keep you there then. Let me invite you. Okay. You have 5 minutes.
Dear delegates, I'd like to say that maybe this UN does need a Syria, but the Russian Federation will be formally abstaining due to the fact that Syria has openly expressed that it has interest in another United Nations. I will not say that Syria is a unpotential nation or it's a bad nation. It's just that I've expressed my concern about how Syria is openly talking in general chat about how the HICOM or the HRs are talking about joining another UN. But I will say that I will not scold those who do aid us, because we do need a Syria. And although they may be observer state, but they will definitely help with activity based on military operations or activity in the Middle East, because we do lack a lot of Middle Eastern nations. And the admission of Syria would definitely help with other nations joining in the Middle East, such as maybe a future Iraq or Saudi Arabia, due to the fact that all these nations in the Middle East have historically worked together in cooperation, and they've also historically had their issues together. And the admission of Syria could possibly lead to other Middle Eastern nations that are such as Israel or Palestine. And this would definitely benefit us. But I also have to make sure that everyone notes that Syria's government is very indecisive. They do apply once, but then they start talking all this crap and nonsense. I will not scold you for aiding. But I would just like to speak about my point of view, why I will be abstaining, and everyone should take a note of my point of view as well. The Russian Federation formally yields.
Thank you, Representative Bayoklu. Are there any other motions? The United States. Do I hear second? With 2 valid seconds, we are going to proceed on to a vote. Bear with me. With 6 in favor, 5 abstaining, and nobody against, Syria is hereby admitted into the United Nations as an observer status. We will now move on to our next item, which is an amendment to the Charter of the United Nations proposed by the United States. Do I hear any motions? The United States. Do I hear a second? Without a second being heard, we shall now move on to a vote. 11 in favor, nobody against, and nobody abstaining. This amendment will now be sent to the Security Council for further consideration. We shall now move on to our last item, which is NATO for treaty organization. The United States. You may have the floor. Do you want to deliver your statement via VC or game chat? All right, that works. You have 5 minutes. Do you yield? Jump if... Okay, thank you. Thank you, Representative Cole. Do I hear any other motions? Russia. Do I hear... Okay. With a lot of seconds being heard, we shall move on to a vote. Give me a second, please. Okay. With 8 in favor, 2 abstaining, and 1 against, this item passes, and NATO is hereby sent to the UNSC for further consideration. Seeing that we have exhausted tonight's agenda, I will now hear for other motions for the floor. Russia. You may have the floor. You have 5 minutes.
Dear delegates, I'd like you all to notice there was a brief week where we all discussed about a new France joining us. Today, we do not see France. They all said that they would be active. They said that they would redeem themselves. They said that they would be more engaging with the community. Now, today, France may have not applied, but if they did apply, I assure you all, France would be here. Instead, they have decided to let the session go. I've seen that they have activity in international feet that does not prove that they have activity internally or foreignly. just because they had one meeting with South Korea does not mean that they are active. I want everyone to pressure France into having more activity, because this UN craves more activity. As I said with the China will show activity, I'm sure of that. But France, they've done this several times now. In the past months, we've attempted to kick France out 3 times. And what have they done? They were active for 1 week and then became inactive. And yet again, in all of our eyes, we can see that France is not here today. Representative Valois has said about me that this is a personal issue. No, this is not a personal issue. And if there was a personal issue, I'd clearly be raging right now. But as I've said several times, there is nothing personal about this, and this is just a call for the better of UN. Now, I just hope every nation here in this UN General Assembly pressures France into having more activity and pressures France into doing more decisive decisions all in this world with all these conflicts and issues that are up and rising. Now, I do understand if you don't have the power or if you simply cannot pressure France, but I ask the nations that are responsible for global security, that are a part of the Security Council, and nations that are big enough in the UN General Assembly to pressure France into having more activity. This would be a big step for United Nations, and this would show that we are actually serious with having competent nations and active nations in this UN. As you all can see as well, that French representatives are even getting bored of representing France and have decided to serve the Republic of Korea in the joint security area. Does that really show you that France is becoming more active? No, it does really not. Now, I hope that Seahawks does actually get more active and starts benefiting the UN more. I've had a talk with them, but I'm seeing no changes at all. Nothing. So I hope you all do listen, do pressure France, and hope and pressure France for a more active permanent 5 nation that is more decisive in decision making. Security Council is disappointing. There's only 2 active permanent 5 nations. The other 2 are inactive. One is shutting down. And the only active nations that I'm seeing right now is from the Rotary Council. So permanent 5 is embarrassing. I hope you all really like pressure France. The Russian Federation yields with hope for everyone to pressure France.
Thank you, Representative Vioflu. Are there any other motions for the floor? Is that what? I can see. Okay. North Korea. Yes, you may have the floor. You have 5 minutes. Thank you, Representative Adam. You may go take your seat. Thailand. Thailand. My bad. No hearing for those motions yet. The Vatican. You may have the floor. You have 5 minutes. Do you want to use DC or are you going to? Okay, let me bring you up. There we go.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, firstly, I would like to agree with the Russian Federation statement. As as the Vatican representative, I have been waiting for the Kingdom of France for months and for months for the confirmation on the king's coronation. I have been planning for the coronation, and which they gave no reply to. For months and months, I